black privilege is getting worse by the year. And by worse, I mean they're getting more bold with their schemes and their actions. I do find it pretty funny, though, when you have those interviewers on the street. They go up to a bunch of black people. They're like, you got 100 fish, and 13 of the fish cause half of the problems. What do you do with those 13 fish? Almost every time the black people say get rid of the fish. Black people, you're lucky we don't have the same mentality of you. Otherwise, y'all'd be gone.
So yes, I was instantly infatuated and fascinated with black people because I believe that they were God's favorite. God spent a little bit more time creating them and put a little bit more love into creating them. So yes, I believed they were the superior race, and going forward in life with that mentality, I just always loved black people. I always wanted to be around them. I always just thought they were the coolest people. And I was fortunate enough to grow up in a fairly diverse area. So I had many black friends. Most of my friends were black or people of color. And I was very quickly exposed to black music and black talent. Something that my mom really instilled in me was that white people were racist. White people were jealous of black people because they were so multifaceted and multi-talented. They could sing, they could dance, they can act, they could make a house a home, they can cook, they can clean. Like, there's literally nothing that black people can't do. Like, they are multifaceted, they are multi-talented. And it made sense to me as a little kid that, that was what racism was. It was jealousy. Let's be real. Racism 100% stems from jealousy and envy. And just, I think people who are racist usually have an insecurity within themselves that they have to spew this hatred onto to other people, because it just doesn't really make sense. Racism doesn't make sense in my eyes.
So I know this video right here has pissed a lot of people off on TikTok. And that gentleman, the first gentleman, I mean, he does similar videos, but I guess that was the one that got some traction, which they used this whole 13% thing. He used it in the wrong context of 13% of the population and out of 100%, but when it comes to these percentages, there's different ways of looking at stats and whatnot. When you look at the overall percentage, and 13% of black folks make up the United States, as opposed to 65% white or something along those lines, and you have Asian, Hispanic, other, so on and so forth. But you look at the quantities and the percentages, and people saying you get rid of 13%. So it seems to me, based off of his logic, and I'm just addressing his first, if you move all black people out of the United States would cease to have any issues, is what he's getting at, right? And we're not even going to get into the amount of arrests and the sentences that occur and the convictions that occur based upon race and stuff like that. A lot of these numbers are skewed, and you can have an argument about all these different things like that, right? About the likelihood of you being pulled over, charged, convicted, sentenced. All these different things have a part to play. So we just have to be honest about that. So, buddy, of course you're going to say that. But again, what would be the United States without black people? And what would be the United States without white people? Think about it. We have to think about things like that. You can't just say one without the other. Because different people would be like, well, United States would be this incredible place without black folks. And then other people will think without white folks, then black folks would burn down the country or destroy the country. It's just different opinions. But she delves into another topic, which I think is important, about some people will say it's white guilt, or she was raised a certain way, or black people are talented, which they are. White people are talented too. We can't take the intelligence and the craftiness and the ability to assemble and act in solidarity that white folks have that black people just don't have. When she said black folks could do anything, black folks just can't stick together. That's one of the biggest issues. And that's one of the weaknesses of black folks, is that they just can't stick together. And you could say other factors, X, Y, Z, so on and so forth. The government's going to take you out. But no, there's really no excuse now when it comes to that. And that's the weakness of the black race, in my opinion, is that there's no solidarity. You can't stick together. Is a lot of infighting, just like it was in Africa. Everybody wants to be on top. But We do know black folks are some of the most, if not the most creative people on this planet. When it comes to ingenuity, when it comes to the arts, when it comes to being fashion, when it comes to being the most copied and emulated person on this earth. And when she gets into superiority and things like that, that's a different conversation that she's discussing. Because you can get into DNA and who can stay out in the sun longer, who's faster, who's better at sports, who has more agility, who has more strength, whose glizzy's bigger, things like that, which I just felt like I had to bring up. But what is all that worth if you don't own anything, you don't control anything, and you can't stand by your brother? You can't lift your brother up as a community. You can't come together. What good is that? Those are great. You can sing, dance, hum, whistle, all these other things. You can build, you can create things, but if you don't own anything, you don't control anything, you know, what's the point? So this is ultimately what it comes down to. These are great things. Now we get into what she was saying. This is a white woman talking about jealousy. And the biggest thing as far as racism that I believe is fear. Racism stems from fear. You could say jealousy, things like that. People get into the whole, you know, certain people have souls, other people don't have souls. Other people have to copy other people have to steal from other people because they just don't have that creativity. And that's a completely different conversation. But I think that this is something important. And racism is stupid. I remember Richard Pryor said that many moons ago when he was alive. If you really think about it, the concept of disliking a person just because of the color of their skin. Now, racism, obviously, the term is bigger than that. It's about control. It's about leverage. It's about being able to dominate and a level of supremacy when it comes to that, which I believe is a part of that. But everybody has their contributions on this earth. To discount someone, and in my opinion, when she's talking about black, I do believe she's referring to America, black Americans. And we are some of the most unique people on this planet. We're not like Africans, as much as people say you're African. Nothing like Africans. We don't, even though we speak English, we don't identify ourselves as English like a lot of these other people do. They want to consider themselves English and whatnot. No, we're just American. Even that's a term that's thrown on it based upon Amerigo Vespucci, whatever his name is. But we're completely different people. The black American was created, right? Even though they existed, you had a certain population of black people here, but it was created. And it's unlike anyone else. It's the most hated. Black people as a whole are disliked, but the most hated. Even Africans don't really like black Americans like that. But everybody wants to emulate them, which is strange enough. It's strange when it comes to things. So I don't know. Culture-wise, entertainment-wise, just the soul, what comes with it is just something that hasn't been duplicated anywhere else. Bottom line, everybody wants to copy, the most copied bar none. Interesting video, man. Let me know what you guys think. No, comment below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Much blessings and abundance. Stick around for the next videos. It's going to pop up on the screen below. That's where I'm going to see you guys at. It's your favorite everything. This is wisdom. I'm the best. Let's run it up to 1 million. Quit playing with me. Peace.